Hello there, Andrew here. I love anime, but I have no patience, so I'm giving every new show of the summer 2017 season one episode to hook me. Welcome to Debut Review. Today I will be watching Classroom of the Elite. Kiyotaka Ayano Koji has just enrolled at Tokyo Kodo Ikusei Senior High School, where it's said that 100% of students go on to college or find employment. Wouldn't that be nice? But he ends up in Class 1D, which is full of all the school's problem children. Of course, if 100% of students go on to college or find employment, does it really matter? What's more, every month, the school awards students points with a cash value of 100,000 yen, and the classes employ a laissez-faire policy in which talking, sleeping, and even sabotage are permitted during class. 1 month later, Ayano Koji, Horikita, and the students of Class D learn the truth of the system in place within their school. Who is Horikita? Horikita? Just kind of threw a name in there at the end, huh? Okay. Alright, so we've got Battle Royale in a classroom. But again, if 100% of students go on to college and find employment, does it really matter? I mean, maybe it's just the show description, but that seems to cut the stakes out from under, or cut the legs out from under the stakes of this show. It's like, oh no, I got sabotaged, but I'm still going to find employment, so it doesn't really matter. Oh no, I got an F, or I didn't do my homework because it was stolen, or my homework was stolen and I couldn't turn it in. But it doesn't really matter because 100% of students go on to college or find employment. Nothing really matters. Guess we'll have to see. I am 37 years old. It took me many, many years of practice, but over the years, I figured out how to act like a normal human being. I figured out that I need to emote and vary vocal inflection and gesticulate and not stare at people. What you see in these videos, in fact, what you see most of the time if you actually ever interact with me in person, is kind of a mask. It's a facade that I put on. And I do that because otherwise, interacting with me would not only be really boring, it would be a bit unsettling. Because if you don't move much, if you don't emote, if you don't alter your facial expression, if you don't alter your tone of voice much, people have a real difficult time figuring you out, knowing how to take you. In fact, a lot of people find it genuinely unsettling. Now you see a bit of this in my reaction videos, the real reaction videos, the ones reacting to Nintendo's events. I sit there kind of staring at it and watching it, and people wonder, is he okay? Seriously, is he okay? Yeah, I'm fine. This is just naturally what my face does. When I'm paying attention to something, I look at it. If I'm talking to someone, I'm naturally inclined to look them in the eye. I've learned over the years that a lot of people find that creepy, genuinely unsettling. So I've learned over the years to move the gaze around a bit. Don't just... See, when I first started out, I figured that looking at people was polite. It is, to an extent, but a lot of people find that creepy. My interpersonal communications teacher in college taught me that. So, over the years, I've figured out how to move, where to look, how to adjust my voice and face and gesticulate to more closely match what's actually in my head, which is why I do that internal monologue thing in the reaction videos, to actually give you a sense of what I am genuinely thinking and what I am genuinely feeling. It's just my outside doesn't naturally want to match my inside. And my inside isn't that enthusiastic in the first place. I have never... When I lived in Pacific Beach, this has something to do with the show, I'll get there. When I lived in Pacific Beach, which is kind of a party town, don't know why I lived there, but it was a nice place, I would often hear people in other apartments near me yell, "Woo!" I guess they were watching football or something. They would either go woo or oh! And I'd think, well, there must be a football game going on. Oh! You'd hear people yell. I'm being completely honest here. I'm going to level with you. I have never at any point in my entire life been inclined to yell oh or woo. And I have enjoyed many things throughout my life. But when I enjoy, I'm serious about enjoying things. I'm damn serious about my enjoyment. I play video games, I'm going to play them. I play the piano, I'm going to play the piano. You try not to do that with people you care about. I'm going to be with a friend, I'm going to be with a friend. No, don't do that. Don't do that. When you live alone, you can do this, when playing Nintendo or playing piano or whatever you enjoy doing. Don't do that with people. Most people don't like that. Now, people I've grown up with, my mother, my sister, they get me because they grew up with me. But if you don't know me, I can be real difficult to know, especially years ago. These days, and YouTube, it helps me out. It's a good way to practice. And if I'm ever I don't feel like wearing the mask, so to speak, I just don't do a video, The protagonist of this show is essentially me. It's not that he's not interested in anything. It's not that he doesn't care about anything. And it's probably not that he doesn't feel anything. I don't feel much, but I do feel. Mostly anger. And that's putting it mildly. Most of my emotions are like, if I'm feeling something, it's usually like out and out rage. Or nothing. I'm either rage or fine. Not particularly healthy, but that's basically where my emotions and feelings exist. This guy probably has a broader spectrum than I do, but he does pretty much what I did in high school. Nothing. He doesn't bother. If he's talking to you, he'll look at you. He'll say what's on his mind. He keeps a flat tone of voice. He doesn't alter his face much. He doesn't move much. Why bother? Why expend the energy? Well, because it makes other people really uncomfortable. And pain in the ass though I may be, I don't like making people feel uncomfortable. But this guy's young yet. He might figure it out. That said, he's not very fun to watch. I wasn't very fun to hang out with when I was young. Hanging out with me was either boring or out and out creepy. As you can imagine, dating didn't go so well either. The two main protagonists are basically just really flat, boring people who don't emote. They're not very interesting. And that's a problem for the show. The show actually has an interesting premise, not one that makes a ton of sense. As the show description said, this is a school that has and it says it right in the show, I'm relying on the subtitles, 100% graduation and employment placement. 100%! So again, that seems to kind of kill the stakes of the show. Oh my gosh, I might not graduate. No, you're definitely going to graduate. Everybody graduates or gets a job. Unless they're lying about something? If you've ever seen Battle Royale, it's a fun movie. I really like it. I watch it like this, but trust me, I really like it. This is my really like it face. No, really. One of the many things that doesn't really work about the idea of Battle Royale, which is once a year a high school class is chosen at random. All the kids are taken out on a field trip and then gassed and then fitted with explodey head collars. And they said, okay kids, you're on an island, you've got a day or two or whatever to kill each other. Last person standing gets to go home. If there are 2 people standing, we're going to kill all of you. If there are 2 or more people, kill all you. Hunger Games, it's basically that. Here's the thing. People know about the Battle Royale. It's televised on TV. They watch it like a football game with popcorn and everything. They probably go, oh! Or woo! And things like that. If you lived in that world, would you bother going to school? I sure as hell wouldn't. If they were like, okay kids, on the bus, we're going on a field trip, would you get on that bus? I wouldn't. One of the kids in Battle Royale, he won a previous Battle Royale. And then went back to school and got on a bus and ended up in a second Battle Royale. It's like, dude, this is on you. I would totally not, I would, I'd use the library or the internet or be home educated or something. I wouldn't bother. And yet, there may be a law saying kids have to go to school, but I wouldn't. No. Kind of the same thing here. No one's threatening to kill anyone yet, but they start school, they say, okay, all of you will graduate or find jobs. Everyone has to stay on campus. You're staying in dorms. And you get a stipend of every month. You get a stipend every month. We've put 100,000 yen on your on your pay cards, so you can spend that however you like: food, clothing, toiletries, video games, whatever. 100,000 yen is about $1,000. So $1,000 a month, assuming they don't have to use those points to pay rent. Yeah, you can make that work. Sure, easily. So these kids most of the kids take this for granted, buy a bunch of video games and slack off in class. They're playing on their tablets or sleeping or don't even bother going. So the next month comes around, and the teacher says, there's been 386 absences, and you all suck, so the point, we didn't say we're giving you 100,000 yen every single month. So, the points that are allotted are merit-based, and you all suck, so you get 0. Well, most of these kids spent all their points. And they're like, oh no! No! And that's where the episode ends. Question. How did they not know about this going in? This would seem to be a widely known thing. Did you not have an older sibling who went to this school? A friend? Hear about it on the internet? Message boards? YouTube video? Anything? How was this not known? You know? How did you go to the school and not know about this point system? This merit-based point system? How did word never get out about this? And our protagonists are really boring, dull protagonists. Both of them are fairly suspicious. They're like, this doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense from an economics standpoint. Why would they be paying, however, you know, $10 million or however much it would be to give 100,000 yen to every single student? I'm mixing my dollars and yens. It's just not financially feasible. Something is fishy. Well, our protagonist still has like 80,000 yen at the start of the next month, so he's going to be okay. So I'm of two minds on this show. One, I'm kind of curious to see, now that they've set up the main plot, I'm kind of curious to see where they're going with it. On the other hand, these characters are boring, but our main hero is just boring. He's not interesting, he's not fun, he's just really dull. And I can even relate to that, and I don't like him. Our main female protagonist, who is the Horikita, who is thrown at the end of the description there. Our hero is the guy in the bottom left, our heroine is the gal in the bottom right. She's actually, she doesn't emote much, but she's just genuinely kind of rude. He looks at her once on the bus, and then goes about his business, and she stops him. You were looking at me on the bus. Why? Because I was wondering if you would... Because there was a situation on the bus, and he wasn't going to do anything, and he looked at her. No, she's not going to do anything. So he says, just seeing if you'd do anything. She goes, okay, well, if you have no business with me, then piss off. I'm like, you stopped him. And she's constant. She's just unpleasant. And unpleasant people are unpleasant. Still, I'll probably give it one more episode just to see where it goes. But for any of you who are young and don't naturally emote much, it takes a good 20 years or so, but you'll figure out how to manipulate your face to blend in with the rest of the peoples, if that is your desire. If I can do it and be moderately successful at it, you can too. See you next time!